what would you say is the single most important thing to be in the investor quadrant? I've spent a number of days with Robert Kiyosaki and I literally got to ask him that question personally. Wouldn't you like to know the answer? Just keep listening. So if you take this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, there are 4 quadrants. You've got the E quadrant, the S quadrant, the B quadrant, and the I quadrant. The E quadrant is the employee quadrant. The S quadrant is the self-employed. That's the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, etc. The B quadrant are the business owners, and the I quadrant are the investors. Now, a couple of things that are interesting here. When it comes to tax, the E quadrant, they call it on the treadwheel, proverbial treadwheel, they pay 40% tax. The S quadrant, they pay 60% tax and generally have large debts. Then you've got the business owner quadrant, they pay 20% tax. And then finally, you've got the I quadrant, which is the investor quadrant, and they pay 0% tax. Now, the big difference between the 4 of them is that an employee works for a job. So they get paid one single income, they're on the proverbial treadwheel, they get paid their monthly salary. The self-employed works for themselves, they basically own their own job. As I said to you, large debts, lots of stress. The business owner has a system. They have a team and a system and people that actually help make them money. And then finally, you've got the investor that uses that money to make money. So they make money, so their money works for them. So they don't work for their money. The first 3 all work for their money, whereas the last one is where, in the I quadrant, it's where your money works for you. Now, sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So if I was to ask you what Robert Kiyosaki personally told me would be the single most important component for the investor, what do you think it is? Put it in the comments below. I'd love to know what your thoughts were as to what you think Robert Kiyosaki would say is the single most important component. Now, interestingly enough, when I asked him at breakfast yesterday, he didn't think about it for 2 seconds. I said to him, what is the single most important thing to being an investor in the investor quadrant? And he said to me, you need to be able to raise money. He said the difference between him and others is he knows how to raise money so that he can do significant deals. I just asked him the same question now, but with a different context, and he said that it comes down to your knowledge, your personal finance knowledge. And I actually think it's both, because you've got to have the personal finance knowledge. You've got to understand how the game works. You've got to be able to speak the language of investing to be in the investor quadrant. And if you're in the investor quadrant, and if you've got track record, then you can raise money. And that's how you can significantly leverage the entire process. So I hope you enjoyed the short video. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friend. And if you would like access to a workbook, a wealth workbook that I put together with all of Robert Kiyosaki's teachings, you can literally comment the word workbook. So just comment the word below workbook, and you will truly, I will share with you the wealth workbook in terms of that process. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. See you on the next one. Cheers.